To the world of horror full of mystery. This time, we will reveal the true story of one of America's most terrifying legends, Bell Witch. Prepare yourself to uncover the dark secrets and terror that have haunted the Bell family for centuries. Don't miss this thrilling story. It will chill you to the bone. In the early 19th century, in a small village called Adams, in the Tennessee region, United States, lived a simple but respected family, the Bell family. John Bell, the head of the family, was a respected and honored farmer in his community. Together with his wife, Lucy Bell, they raised several children, great love and hard work. Their peaceful and serene life began to be disturbed by a series of strange and unexplained events. John and Lucy had 4 children. Betsy was the eldest daughter, and 3 sons, Don Jr., Richard, and Joel. The family lived quietly on their fertile farm, going through their days with a normal routine. However, their lives changed drastically when unexpected things began to happen in their home. One quiet autumn night, a soft tapping sound came from the walls of their house. At first, John Bell thought it was just the wood expanding due to changes in temperature. However, the sound grew louder and more frequent. Each night, tapping returned, moving from one wall to the next, as if someone or something was trying to communicate. Lucy, who was usually calm, began to feel uneasy. She would often lie awake at night, listening to the strange sounds with a pounding heart. John, though he initially tried to remain rational, could not ignore the fact that something unseen was disturbing his family. The tapping on the walls was only the beginning. Soon, the Bell children began experiencing more sinister occurrences. Betsy, who slept in the bedroom next to her parents, would often wake up in the middle of the night to the sensation of someone pulling on her blanket. At first, she thought it was just a bad dream. The feeling was too real to ignore. John Jr., who was usually a light sleeper, also began experiencing similar things. He would feel something touching him, waking him with a cold touch on his skin. The other children began to feel the same discomfort. When they told their parents about this, John and Lucy felt confused and did not know what to do. John Bell, who was known as a rational and practical man, decided to find an explanation for these strange events. He invited his neighbors and friends to stay and witness for themselves what was happening in his house. However, this only made the situation more complicated. The guests who came also experienced unexplained things. They heard knocks, felt touches, and saw shadows moving quickly. News of the strange events in the Bell house quickly spread throughout the village of Adams. Many curious people came to see for themselves and try to understand what was happening. However, the more people came, the more people experienced the strange events. The Bell family home, which was once peaceful, had now turned into a center of invisible terror. One night, when the Bell family and several guests were gathered in the living room, they heard a very clear voice. The voice sounded like a woman singing a sad song. The voice came from the corner of the room, but no one was there. Everyone present heard it, feeling the hair on the back of their necks stand on end. The voice continued for several minutes before finally fading away. John Bell felt that this was too much. He decided to take his family to the local church to ask for help from the priest. Priest came to the Bell house, bringing holy water and praying to exorcise any evil spirits that might be there. However, this effort seemed to be in vain. The disturbance continued, even more intense. One night, the Bell family and their guests heard a woman's voice speaking clearly. The voice claimed to be Kate Batts, a neighbor who had had a conflict with John Bell. Kate was known as an eccentric woman and was often considered a witch by the villagers. However, what surprised everyone was that the real Kate Batts was still alive and well. This Kate voice seemed to know a lot about the Bell family, including things that only they knew. She began to reveal secrets and make threats. The presence of Kate further increased the fear of the Bell family and everyone involved. The disturbances from Kate continued nightly. The knocking on the walls became louder, the voices became clearer, and the invisible touches became more frequent. The atmosphere in the Bell house became very tense, with all family members living in fear. Betsy Bell, who seemed to be Kate's main target, experienced the most severe terrors. She often woke up with bruises on her body, as if she had been beaten by an invisible hand, When she tried to fight back, she felt suffocated and could not breathe. John Bell began to experience severe pain that doctors could not explain. This pain seemed to be related to the presence of Kate. He often felt pain in his mouth and throat, as if someone was gripping him with incredible force. The Bell family lived in fear and confusion, not knowing how to deal with this invisible terror. They tried everything they could to exorcise Kate. Nothing worked. The disturbances continued, deepening the mystery surrounding the Bell house. After several weeks of strange and disturbing events, John Bell decided to seek help from the local priest. Reverend James, a man known for his wisdom and faith, was invited to visit the Bell family home. He came with holy water and a Bible, determined to exorcise the evil spirit that was plaguing the family. However, as Reverend James began to recite prayers and sprinkle holy water around the house, a creepy female laugh was heard. The voice mocked Reverend James' efforts and continued to utter threats against the Bell family. Reverend James felt that the force they were facing was much greater than he had anticipated. Even so, he did not give up and continued to pray with full faith. Strange occurrences were not limited to voices or knocking on the walls. The terror soon turned into real physical attack. Betsy Bell, who seemed to be the main target of the evil spirit, was often found with bruises and wounds on her body. She often felt pinched, bit, and even pulled by invisible hands. One night, while Betsy was sleeping, she woke up because she felt a terrible pain in her hair. When she opened her eyes, she saw her hair being pulled as if by someone, even though no one was there. She screamed, and the rest of the family came running into her room. They saw Betsy's hair moving on its own and heard a woman's eerie laughter. They tried to help her. There was nothing they could do to stop the attacks. John Bell also began to feel the effects of the disorder. He often felt pain in his jaw and throat, as if someone was gripping and pinching him with incredible force. The pain became increasingly severe, making it difficult for John to speak and eat. Doctors who came to examine John could not find a physical cause for his pain, leaving the family even more desperate. In addition to the voices and physical attacks, the Bells and their guests began to see apparitions. Black shadows would often flash past them in the corners of their eyes. Occasionally, they would see a woman with a blurred face standing at the end of the room, staring at them with a terrifying gaze. One night, as John Jr. was walking toward the kitchen, he saw a woman standing in the corner of the room. The figure seemed to be floating in the air, glowing red eyes and a sinister smile. When John Jr. tried to approach, the figure disappeared in an instant, leaving behind a pungent stench. Desperate and frightened, the Bell family tried various methods to exorcise the evil spirit. They invited priests, shamans, and even psychics to help them. However, each attempt seemed to only make the evil spirit angrier. Each time someone tried to exorcise it, the spirit responded with more vicious attacks and more terrifying threats. A renowned psychic from out of town came and spent several nights at the Bell home to investigate the disturbances. He brought various equipment and performed various rituals to try to exorcise the spirit. However, the spirit continued to taunt and threaten him, making him feel helpless. The psychic finally left the Bell home in fear and frustration, admitting that he could not help them. The Bell family's daily life changed completely. They could not sleep well, constantly awakened by strange noises and physical attacks. The children were afraid to sleep alone, and often shared a room with their parents. They also began to miss school, due to fear and exhaustion from the constant disturbances. John Bell could not work well in the fields, because of the constant pain in his jaw and throat. He often had to rest trying to calm himself from the pain and fear. Lucy Bell, who was usually strong and calm, began to show signs of exhaustion and deep anxiety. The Bell family's neighbors, who had initially come to help, began to feel fearful and avoided the Bell house. They did not want to experience the same disturbances, preferred to keep their distance. Some even began to talk that the Bell family might be cursed or did something to attract evil spirits. However, there were also some neighbors who remained loyal and tried to help. They brought food, offered moral support, and tried to stay with the Bell family during difficult times. Even so, the fear of the presence of evil spirits made many people feel uncomfortable around the Bell house. One day, while checking the house for clues about the disturbances they were experiencing, John Jr. discovered a hidden room in the basement. This room was not listed on the house plan, and appeared to have been unused for a long time. Inside the room, they found strange items such as old dolls, ancient books, and various objects that seemed to have mystical value. Bell felt that this room might be related to the disturbances they were experiencing. He decided to close the room and not let anyone in there. However, this decision did not seem to stop the disturbances. Instead, it made the evil spirit even angrier. Strange and terrifying events continued to haunt the Bell family, deepening their fear and confusion. This terror not only ruined their daily lives, but also left them feeling isolated and helpless. Although they had tried various ways to exorcise the evil spirit, nothing worked. The disturbances only seemed to get worse, adding to the tension and horror in the Bell house. After several attempts to exorcise the evil spirits that were haunting the Bell family failed, John Bell decided to seek further help. He contacted a well-known spiritualist named Joshua Gardner, who had a reputation as a skilled paranormal investigator. Joshua agreed to come to the Bell home and investigate the strange occurrences they were experiencing. Joshua Gardner arrived at the Bell home with full confidence that he could help the family. He brought various tools and equipment to try to identify and exorcise the evil spirits that were bothering them. When he arrived at the Bell home, he felt a heavy and oppressive atmosphere, as if something was terribly wrong there. Joshua began his investigation by talking to each member of the Bell family, listening to their experiences and trying to understand the nature of the disturbances. He also spent several nights in the Bell home, listening to voices and experiencing strange occurrences firsthand. One night, while Joshua was sitting in the living room with John and Lucy, they heard the sound of a creepy woman laughing. The sound sounded very clear and close, as if it were coming from inside the room. Joshua tried to communicate with the spirit, asking who it was and why it was bothering the Bell family. However, the spirit only responded with taunts and threats. She said that she was Kate, and that she had a grudge against John Bell. Joshua tried to find out more, but the spirit did not provide much information. While investigating further, Joshua found an old book hidden in one of the walls of the Bell house. The book contained notes written in an unknown language, creepy drawings and strange symbols. Joshua felt that this book might be related to the evil spirit that was haunting the Bell family. He took the book to an ancient language expert to have it translated. After a few days, the expert gave him a shocking translation. The book contained spells and rituals related to black magic and summoning evil spirits. Joshua realized that this book might have been used by someone in the past to summon the evil spirit that was now haunting the Bell family. With this new information, Joshua decided to try to exorcise the spirit one more time. He gathered the Bell family and several loyal neighbors to perform an exorcism ritual. They gathered in the living room, praying and reciting incantations from holy books to try to exorcise Kate. However, the spirit emerged with greater power, threw objects around the room, made frightening noises, and attacked several people present. Betsy Bell was again the primary target, feeling pulled and pinched by invisible hands. Joshua tried to remain calm and continue reciting the incantation, but the spirit of Kate seemed too powerful to simply exorcise. After several hours of trying, they finally had to give up and stop the ritual. The disturbances from Kate only grew worse after that, indicating that the spirit would not be easily exorcised. After the failed ritual, the disturbances in the Bell home became more intense. The voices became louder and more frequent, the physical attacks became more brutal, and the apparitions became more vivid. Betsy Bell suffered the most, often being found with unexplained bruises and injuries. She also began to have very vivid nightmares, in which she saw dark shadows chasing and attacking her. John Bell also experienced a drastic decline in health. The pain in his jaw and throat became increasingly severe, making it difficult for him to eat and speak. Doctors who came to examine her still could not find a physical cause for her illness, leading them to believe that it was the result of an evil spirit. One night, while Betsy was sleeping, she dreamed of a mysterious old woman. The woman claimed to be her ancestor who had died generations ago. In the dream, the old woman told Betsy that Kate's spirit was the result of a curse cast by someone in the past. The old woman explained that John Bell had been involved in a land dispute with a neighbor named Kate Batts. Kate Batts, who was known to be a witch, felt betrayed and cast a curse on the Bell family in revenge. The curse now haunts the Bell family in the form of Kate's spirit. Betsy woke up from the dream feeling scared and confused. She told her family about the dream, and they felt that this might be the answer to their trouble. They realized that they had to find a way to end the curse if they were going to stop Kate's spirit. With this new information, Joshua Gardner and the Bell family began searching for a way to end the curse cast by Kate Batts. They contacted various witches, psychics, and shamans for advice. However, none of them had a definitive answer on how to end the curse. They finally decided to meet Kate Batts in person and try to talk to her. Kate Batts, who was old and sickly, received them with a hostile attitude. She admitted that she had cast the curse on the Bell family, but she refused to remove it. Joshua and the Bell family begged Kate Batts to remove the curse, explaining the suffering they had experienced because of Kate's spirit. However, Kate Batts only laughed and said that the curse could not be lifted that easily. She gave them vague hints about an ancient ritual that might be able to end the curse, but she did not provide many details. With Kate Batts' guidance, Joshua Gardner and the Bell family attempt to perform the ancient ritual. They gather the necessary ingredients and follow the instructions as best they can. The ritual involves burning various herbs and reciting certain incantations at sacred locations. They perform the ritual on a quiet night, hoping that this will end the curse and banish Kate's spirit. However, as the ritual progresses, the disturbances become more intense. Eerie voices are heard all around them, and dark shadows seem to float in the air. Betsy experiences another physical attack, feeling pulled and punched by invisible hand. John Bell feels an excruciating pain in his jaw as if something is gripping him with full force. Despite their fear, they continue to perform the ritual in the hope that it will work. The ritual is finally complete, and they wait anxiously to see the results. For a moment, it seems like things have calmed down. The strange voices and apparitions disappear, and the Bell family feels a sense of relief. However, this calm is short-lived. Strange occurrences occur again, indicating that the ritual was not entirely successful. Although the disturbance from Kate's spirit seems to have subsided, terror is not over. The Bell family and Joshua Gardner realize that they must find another way to end the curse and stop Kate's spirit once and for all. The Bell family's life continued to be filled with terror. Although the disturbance from Kate's spirit subsided a little after the last ritual, this calm did not last long. Every night, Betsy had nightmares that continued to haunt her. These dreams became more intense and frightening, as if Kate's spirit wanted to tell her something. One night, Betsy dreamed that she was in a dark and shadowy forest. In the middle of the forest, she met a terrifying black shadow figure. The figure approached her quickly, and Betsy felt suffocated by an invisible force. When she was almost out of breath, the voice of Kate's spirit was heard, whispering in her ear in a creepy tone, "You will never be free from me." Betsy woke up with cold sweats running down her body. She knew that Kate's spirit was still around them, and that this curse was not over. John Bell felt that they needed help from more than just spiritualists and witches. He decided to contact a famous professor from a nearby university who had expertise in the field of paranormal and supernatural phenomena, Dr. Samuel Warren. Dr. Warren agreed to come to the Bell home and help them further investigate the spirit of Kate and the curse that was haunting them. Dr. Warren arrived armed with a variety of sophisticated equipment to measure paranormal activity. He began his investigation by placing sensors and cameras throughout the home to capture evidence of the spirit's disturbances. He also conducted in-depth interviews with each member of the Bell family to gain a clearer picture of the events they were experiencing. Dr. Warren spent several weeks in the Bell home, analyzing the data and observing the behavior of Kate's spirit. He found that the disturbances seemed to center around Betsy, indicating that Kate's spirit had a special attachment to the young girl. Dr. Warren also noted that the disturbances tended to increase at night, with their peak occurring between midnight and 3 in the morning. During his investigation, Dr. Warren managed to record some startling paranormal phenomena, captured strange noises, shadows moving on their own, and even the appearance of Kate's spirit on several videotapes. This evidence strengthened his belief that the Bell family's disturbances were real and not a figment of their imagination. Dr. Warren made a startling discovery in the local historical record. He discovered that Kate Batts, the woman who had cast the curse on the Bell family, had been involved in an occult society in the area. This society was known for practicing black magic and summoning evil spirits. Dr. Warren suspected that Kate's spirit was the result of one of the rituals performed by the society. With this information, Dr. Warren devised a plan to try to exorcise Kate's spirit once more. He felt that with a better understanding of the origins of the spirit, they might have a better chance of ending the curse. Dr. Warren gathered all the materials and equipment necessary for a more sophisticated and planned exorcism ritual. He also enlisted several of his colleagues from the university who had expertise in the paranormal and occult. They prepared the ritual very carefully, making sure that all steps were carried out correctly. The ritual was planned to be performed on a quiet night, when the full moon provided enough light to illuminate the surroundings. The Bell family and the experts gathered in the living room, the place where Kate's spirit was thought to be the center of activity. They formed a circle and began the ritual by reciting ancient spells and prayers to exorcise the evil spirit. As the ritual progressed, the atmosphere became increasingly tense. Strange noises began to be heard. Dark shadows appeared around the room. Dr. Warren and his colleagues remained focused, continuing to recite spells and prayers with great conviction. The spirit of Kate appeared with incredible power. She made objects in the room levitate, shattered glass windows, and attacked several people present. Betsy was again the main target, feeling pulled and punched by invisible hands. However, Dr. Warren and his team did not give up. They continued the ritual with great determination, using every tool and knowledge at their disposal to try to exorcise the spirit. The atmosphere became increasingly intense, with the light of the full moon shining brightly through the broken windows. Finally, after hours of struggling, they felt that the power of the spirit of Kate was beginning to weaken. As the ritual reached its climax, Dr. Warren took out a very important object, an ancient necklace found in the Bell house. This necklace was believed to have magical powers that could bind spirits and banish them from this world. Carefully, Dr. Warren placed the necklace in the center of the circle and recited the final incantation with great conviction. The spirit of Kate let out a terrifying scream, as if in great pain. The dark shadows began to disappear, and the atmosphere in the room slowly calmed down. After a while, the spirit of Kate disappeared completely, leaving the Bell house in a deep silence. The Bell family and the experts were relieved, although they were still wary of possible future disturbances. They thanked Dr. Warren and his team for their help, feeling that they could finally live more peacefully. After the successful ritual, the Bell family's life slowly returned to normal. The disturbances from the spirit of Kate stopped completely, and Betsy Bell no longer had terrible nightmares. John Bell felt his health began to improve, and he was able to return to his daily life without extreme pain. Dr. Warren returned to the university with notes and evidence from his investigation of the Bell house. He wrote a comprehensive account of the events, which was later published as a book, and became a major reference in the study of paranormal phenomena. Although the curse cast by Kate Batts was finally over, the Bell family still held deep memories of the terror they experienced. They were grateful that they had overcome the ordeal and were able to move on with their lives. However, the story of Kate's spirit and the Bell family curse remained a legend that was told from generation to generation, reminding people of the power and dangers of the supernatural. Thank you for watching this thrilling journey into the mystery of the Bell Witch. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more scary horror stories. Leave a comment below with your thoughts or any other horror stories you'd like to hear. See you in the next video, and stay alert for the unseen.